All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CAGcast episode number 747. I'm your host, GBD, here in Long Island, New York. As always, we're joined by a man who can't wait to play Call of Duty on Nintendo Switch for the next 10 years, Wombat.
Yeah, it's my goal is to play Call of Duty on the Switch for at least a decade. That's what I'm here for.
That's why you bought the Nintendo Switch, in anticipation of that happening.
Yep, you figured it out.
So people who are watching us on Twitch live right now may notice that there are only 2 boxes on the screen instead of 3 boxes because Shipwreck is slacking off. Very unlike Shipwreck.
I know, he's not around.
To not show up for something and not let anybody know that he's otherwise engaged. That's very un-Shipwreck.
There was part of me that didn't want to say anything and just kind of let it go, and just
what do you
not
mean?
Say that Ship, just not mention that Ship isn't here.
Why?
And see if people.
You should have told me that was the plan ahead of time before.
I know, but
you got to let me in on the plan.
It would have been pretty funny.
Right.
Like, where's Ship?
Well,
like, who?
Right.
Gary? Who's Gary? What movie?
Gary, the motion picture?
No, that is Weird Science.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yep.
I almost threw up there. Anyway, Shipwreck will be back.
Yes.
Will join us, I think, mid-show, is the rumor.
That's what he's hoping for. We'll see how long we can go and do this together.
And I'm thinking,
it's been a while.
I'm thinking he's going to be drunk when he comes back.
I don't think Ship gets drunk.
And he doesn't?
No,
Yeah,
he gets old man drunk.
He gets redder. He gets just more red.
Yeah, it's different. It's not real drunk.
Right. Why is that? He's not trying hard enough?
No, I think it's just when it comes with age.
You can't get drunk anymore?
Mm-mm.
That doesn't make any sense.
Not when you drink as much as he does.
No, I don't think he drinks that much. He doesn't drink that much. What are you saying? So yeah, he'll be. He says like in half an hour or something. He'll be back. Are we allowed to say where he is?
I mean, I don't know.
I feel like if he didn't want us to say it, he'd be here.
That's true. You have a point. So where is he?
He's got a going away party for his work.
That's right, because he's leaving.
He's getting a new job.
Yes, he is.
Yep. Male strip
Very
club.
exciting.
Male strip club. You wouldn't think he'd wind up there, but
I would.
they needed a beer drinker.
Mm-hmm.
They needed the best damn beer drinker in town.
That's right.
So yeah, he must have a future. He's gonna have a future.
The flaming dad bod is what they call him.
All right, I have a game for you to play.
Okay,
I'm going to tell
games.
you. I'm going to tell you a story that I encountered.
Mm-hmm.
Not a story that I encountered. A situation that I encountered in real life, and you will tell me if the situation was sexist, racist, or just an innocent, exchange. Okay. So I was at a car rental place getting a car because my car was being serviced, as was the woman in front of me online at the car rental place.
The woman in front of you online was being serviced?
Her car was being serviced and she was getting a rental.
Car was being serviced.
Don't interrupt the story with bad jokes. Only good jokes. Only good jokes.
Okay.
So the clerk is talking to her and he's explaining to her how they ask, even though the car dealership pays for the rental, they need your driver's license, they need your address, they need your phone number, and they need to try to sell you the insurance, the extra insurance, right? So the guy's like, God forbid something happens to the car, you have this insurance and everything is okay. And the woman was not interested. She's just like, no, thank you. And the guy's like, are you sure? It's like only $12 and God forbid something happens to the car, you're totally covered, you don't have to worry. And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. And then he said something else like the same thing, but again, he used the words, God forbid something happens to the car, which I thought was weird. Like, it's just a weird thing to say. Like, it's a fucking car, right? Like, if something happens to the car,
script.
I guess, but like, God forbid, God forbid would not be in the script unless it was
It
like. It
might be. I mean, you could scare people
really?
with that turn of phrase. It's a very religious country we live in, just not me and you.
But I know, but do you think wouldn't it have to be like Jesus car rentals to have like God forbid? You think like a major car rental place would?
I think they're banking on most people being Christian and that phrase maybe being a little triggering.
Interesting. Okay. It's a theory. I don't know if I believe it, but it's a theory.
I'm working with what you're giving me.
Okay, so I'm sitting there next, and I'm like, that's so weird that he just keeps saying, God forbid something happens to the car. And like, what am I gonna say when he says that to me? So that's what I'm thinking about while this woman in front of me is getting it. Also, she's an Asian woman.
Okay, I would have been like, God is dead.
That's part of my sexist, racist, or innocent game.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy, she says after the third time of God forbid something happens to the car, she's like, no, thank you. And the guy is like, leaves it alone and moves on. Then it's my turn. And I'm thinking like, what am I going to say when he says God forbid? And you know what I came up with like, what are you renting me? A Ferrari? Something like that. It wasn't great, but I wasn't putting that much effort into it.
Okay,
anyway, sure enough, the guy, he asked me for my address and phone number, takes my driver's license and then my insurance. And then instead of asking me if I want insurance, he goes, oh, you just want to use like your coverage, your insurance coverage? No, God forbid something happens to the car. Nothing. Just you want to use your insurance coverage? And I was like, yeah. And then that was it. He moved on to the next thing. So do you think that guy that exchange before me was sexist, racist, or innocent?
I'm going with the combo of sexist and racist.
That's a strong combo. And
I'm going to say that's probably what you got there.
That's what I thought. And I was explaining this to Mrs. Cheapy, and she was unaware of the generalization that Asians are bad drivers. Because
has she never seen a stand-up comedian from 1987?
Right. I explained to her that's basically where the trope came from. But the reality is, like, you go to Japan and like people are the best drivers. Like, they don't even honk their horns at each other. It's just like smooth sailing all the way.
There's a stand-up comedian that started that.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I think it's older than him.
Okay. Because he did a good job on that.
I feel like even Jay Leno had an Asian driver bit.
Sure. Definitely. It was pretty popular.
Yeah, it was very common.
Right. Anyway, I didn't get to use my "What are you renting me, a Ferrari?" line, but at least I got to say it now.
You got to say it now. I was just about to say that, so could have been worse.
Anyway, I felt bad for the woman afterwards. Like, is this what she's got to go through all day? Like, people just like treating her like a child, like she can't make the decisions for herself. Or
yeah, probably.
Or maybe just being a big white guy, people just want to leave you alone. They don't want to like pressure you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, everything's fine.
Is everything fine?
Yes, with the car rental and my car. It's all over.
You had a nice weekend?
Yes. You know what happened this weekend was Ben Gilbert's New York Rowers Cup party event / award ceremony, and it got written up in the Times today.
What?
Which was crazy. And
I know. I saw that.
I know.
Really cool.
Well, I sent it to you at 7 a.m. when I saw it.
I was awake. It's not like I'm not awake.
I know. You responded immediately. You're like, whoa. Mm-hmm. And Ben was like, whoa, because I don't think he was expecting that. But the event was a huge success, and like it went off without a hitch, and everybody was happy. And I got to meet one of our CAGcast fans, Rafi, who showed up with some of his friends. And we took pictures in front of the giant. They had a giant promotional thing you could stand in front of, to take pictures that had every strain, like all 90 strains that were entered into the competition. And people were taking photographs in front of that. And that's what I did with Rafi.
Is it weird that we live in a society now where having your picture taken or being in a room where smoking weed is sort of, it's an open thing. It's not hidden. It's not scary. It's not taboo.
I think that it is still very much those things. It just depends what your job is. So like for me, if there's a picture of me smoking weed, no one's going to fire me.
That is true.
If it's my wife, she probably would not want a picture of herself smoking weed anywhere, as probably a lot of professionals wouldn't.
Sure.
And in fact, like some of the growers, I mean, it's totally different between somebody smoking weed and growing weed and selling it.
Yes.
But some of the growers at the event, when they were going to be photographed, they concealed their identity with a ski mask. I was thinking like the ski mask is like not, I mean, Mrs. Cheapy was actually explaining it to me. She thought the ski mask is not a good look. It's too threatening. You need a more just it's like bank robber.
I think even a little bit the threat is also a little intentional. I mean, these are people, they're growing. They want their identities hidden.
Right.
They don't want people coming to them and trying to steal their weed.
Well, it's only for pictures.
And,
it's weird. Like at the event, they're not wearing the mask. It's just like when the photographer comes over, they put the mask on. And you can see it. If you look for the New York Times article, you can see that in action. Anyway, it was a great event. Ben is like floating on cloud 9 right now. And
nice. And that's not just from the weed.
He's on cloud 10, actually. Yeah, he's beside himself, and I'm very proud of Ben. And who knows what's next? Probably more events, I would think.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome.
Events.
I mean, I give him so much credit. What he did something that a lot of people wouldn't do. He had a very comfortable position,
right?
That he left to follow a dream, and it got written up in the Times. So that's pretty impressive.
And one of the highlights was one of the state officials from the New York Office of Cannabis Management was actually on stage with Ben giving out the award, like announcing one of the winners and giving it. So it's, sort of got like the seal of approval from the government, which is like on his first event, like that he put together in 4 months.
Commissioner Cheech or Commissioner Chung?
No, it was the social equity. It was the social equity director. So,
hey man, I'm the weed guy.
No, that's a trope. That's like Asian drivers are bad. Just as harmful.
Have you ever seen an Asian driver? Far out, man.
They're actually pretty good. It's all a lie, man. One thing I noticed at the event was that there were a lot of disproportionately number of tall people there. People taller than me. There were a lot of like even the DJ was tall.
Stepped on.
Yes, and burned up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm just biding time till Shipwreck gets back. Is he back yet?
That's all right.
No. It was a great event, and that's all I have to say about that. And if you want to follow New York Growers Cup on Instagram, and you can check out all the videos and photos of the weed, which is the most important part. I even got a text from somebody who I guess saw my picture on Instagram on one of the posts. He was like, "Hey, you were there." Anyway, that was Annabelle. Annabelle. Should we do some show feedback?
Sure. Gorgo had to say, nice cast all. I'm going to get slammed for this, but I have to stand up with Wombat regarding Slumberland. Cheapy was quick to dismiss a property and creator that's massively important historically to both animation and comic.
I was not, let's just be clear for a moment. I was not dismissing the creator. I was dismissing Wombat.
That's fair enough.
I don't know anything about the creator. I still don't know anything about the creator.
He goes on to say that Winsor McKay was a pioneer in animation and comic design. His influence on both mediums is huge. His gorgeous Art Nouveau styled comics elevated the medium in a way few had until modern times.
Good. I hope he's a Google Doodle someday.
I'm sure.
Maybe he was already.
I bet he was once. Because he was pretty influential. He was a big deal. Good. What I find very interesting, because I feel like this is going to happen more often as time goes on, is properties that were not in the public domain become public domain, and the creators get lost to time. And I feel like that's kind of sad. I mean, Winnie the Pooh went into public domain. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Right.
And that's why they're making all these weird
porn movies. All those porn movies.
And horror movies, the Winnie the Pooh slasher film that's coming out next year.
Is it? Oh, wow.
So, but, they don't have to credit A.A. Milne. They just have to say Winnie the Pooh. And it's sort of weird that, these creators that, created these properties that have lasted over 100 years.
They're dead. How they should.
I know. I just think it's, a matter of respect, I guess. I don't know.
It's respectful that they're using their properties. Like, so who's next? What's the next big property that's going to come on? Like Popeye's got to be up soon, right?
Where it gets controversial is Disney has been lobbying these copyright laws for a long time.
I bet.
And they keep changing the law every time Mickey Mouse gets close to that public domain.
Right.
So, yeah. Because Mickey Mouse has gotten close a couple of times. Yeah.
I bet on Disney.
Imagine?
Yeah, I can imagine all the shit that Mickey Mouse would be. It would be great. I'd love it.
Public domain Mickey Mouse? Jeez.
Yep.
Jeez Louise.
Be
Okay.
good.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got?
Anyway, Rod Sanchez has to say that the CAGcast is my favorite online show and entertainment that I look forward to watching and listening to every week. Keep bringing on the laughs and knowledge in our crazy busy world. It's small font. It's my fault.
Well, you made this font small.
I know. I said it's my fault.
Why? It's an interesting choice of words. I feel online show and entertainment is that's either very broad or very specific, depending on how you take it.
I'm going with very broad.
Right, like online show and entertainment is like anything on Netflix. I feel.
Yes, we're better than Wednesday. That's
how I'll take it too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Not having watched Wednesday, I'm not confident. But anyway, what else?
I'm telling you, we're better than Wednesday. Wade Skelton has to say, Wombat, dude, I watched that Wendell and Wild movie you praised. I know why it got buried. It was Dookie. I'm sorry. I would still watch something you recommended, but you button hooked me on that one. Touche. Dookie. It's a good movie. It's a children's movie. I don't know. Maybe you watched it without children.
Just listen to my recommendations. I will never steer you wrong.
That is so not true.
I will tell you if you will like the movie or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never wrong.
Never wrong?
Because I'm very careful with what I recommend.
Is that the second GBD promise?
No, it's like the fifth one. Don't ask me to list them. But I am very careful about the movies that I recommend. So if I recommend it, you know that I'm very confident you're going to like it. Unless you're Shanna fan. But I will tell you, if you're Shanna fan,
you're not going to like it.
Yeah, I'll give that's one of the promises also. I won't.
That's fair.
Yes. Just for Shanna fan.
Mm-hmm. Gets his own special.
Before we do watch this, jerks, let's tease everybody again that our faves of 2022 are coming up at the end of the year. I guess, yes, we'll have that in one show. We will announce our favorite movies and TV and games.
Wow, I have to think about stuff.
Yes, you have a little time.
Did I watch? I have to remember all the movies I watched.
Not many this year. I know I didn't watch very many.
Mm-hmm.
Some good ones, but I think it's going to be mostly TV shows for me. And probably it was like that last year.
I have to remember what TV I watched. Okay. Anyway.